Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. I'm gonna say my piece here why this bullshit under the Biden administration and what was going on for years, even under other administrations, did nobody gave a fuck about, and why it's getting worse. And yeah, why even people that are black that were homeless that lived where they were in this country, wherever they may have lived all their life, that were homeless, they're staying homeless right now. A lot of people are getting pissed, and these people that are just coming right in illegally, they're not all of them are getting shelters because there's so many of them, but they're getting kicked. People that were homeless in their own city getting kicked out of homeless shelters or denied place in a homeless shelter just to put these fucking people in. You know, some of them are criminals. Some of them are running from bad shit, but a lot of them, yeah, I'm seeing in New York, they're stomping out cops and going and robbing people and then flipping people off on cameras. Yeah, you want somebody like that coming in your country, doing whatever the hell they want and flipping off the news cameras. So it's basically saying, yeah, we come here and do what we want and fuck you. See, you're seeing all of that shit, and I want to say why it ain't fucking fair. It's like damn wrong, because I'm going to talk about, to give you a basic idea here. And this I'm going to say here, whether it's my white leftist haters, that no matter what I say or anybody else says, they just make these faces with their lips because they regard things that are facts. Their definition of facts is whatever the fuck their little friends on social media say, while they're still living in a room in their parents' house. They don't know a fucking thing. And then the far right don't like me either, because the moderate right, anybody else that cares about anything I say is moderate right, and I compare them to the moderate right that vote Republican that I worked in jobs with. But the far right looks at me and makes these faces or whatever the fuck, because anything that doesn't fit their narrative about welfare and the poor and all that shit, to them I might as well be a leftist, you know what I mean? And then I'm not that. That the far right presume that everybody that gets to live in the projects, oh, that's free. Oh no, not everybody that lives in projects or public housing gets that thing called, what do we call in our area, Section 8. This has relevance there, pay attention to this. I don't know about any yins guys' area, but public housing in my area, for one thing, if you're fucking broke, if you're black or white, and if you're fucking broke, you think you're going to get a place in the projects. Like I said, not everybody in the world that lives in them things gets a thing called Section 8. That's a whole other, you can do a whole other thing on that topic. You have to have some kind of income. They don't give a shit what it is. Whether you get disability, or some states that give you some welfare money to pay your rent apart from Section 8. I mean, like I said, the far right that doesn't like me, the far right that don't like me, they think this other bullshit, which some of it half's true and some of it's true, but all the fuck they care about is their negative, their negative narrative, and all the fuck the far left gives a fuck about is what their little friends on social media think. They don't give a fuck about the facts about the poor and all. They're just fucking posers, and with their little friend, they never been homeless or never seen homeless or worked for a charity in their life. They just live in a room in their parents' house. But anyway, homeless shelters are full in like Pittsburgh. I look at my Pittsburgh TV news. They don't have, that's been going on for years in all kind of cities. They don't got no fucking room, homeless shelters. More people are homeless than shelters to put them, right? That's a fucking insult. And they're putting some of them in shelters that were homeless, lived here all their life, and they're filling that shit up with people that are here illegally, like that shit. That ain't fucking right. But yeah, that shit was going on for years. But anyway, my point about talking about public housing is, like I said too, unlike the far right has some serious presumptions and misconceptions. Some things are half true, and okay, and I don't want to make a whole video talking about that. That's a whole other video, but they believe in a form of exaggerated misconceptions, yet some of them are true, but only for particular chosen individuals. So they're part right and part wrong, but you don't fit their narrative, they fucking hate you. And then the far left, they just turn a blind eye to the homeless people that are all over. The only reason the far left gives a fuck about any of the homeless, if it's shit their little friends say, they don't really give a shit. They pretend to. But anyway, yeah, to get in public housing, if you don't got what we call Section 8 or some kind of thing, SSI or disability, if your ass is completely broke and got nothing, you're lucky you get into a homeless shelter. You know, that shit, like, you can get into public housing if you have a shit job. When some of the places have fucking waiting lists. And in some cases, in some of our areas, if you got a shit job and you barely have enough to pay a certain kind of rent, you can almost sooner get into projects if you got a space available on a waiting list than even in some cases a place with rent you can't afford, or anywhere where, or if you got enough to pay rent or something somewhere, right? And you're looking in there, places taken, no vacancy, places taken. You can work a 40-hour week job and get into projects, and they just raise what they charge you rent depends on what you got, and if you end up making more, you have to report that. You know what I mean? Because they have to raise the rent. So I'm just trying to say a ballpark thing, because I'm saying here a couple of aspects of this. You could make an entire fucking 2-hour long lecture video, and I don't want to do that. But I'm going to just telling you how the far right are dicks and the far left are dicks. I mean, you can almost sympathize more in the real life and the real world. The real world for real people that are like maybe moderate right or moderate left. People in reality. Like say somebody, okay, the guy you work with, oh, I'm vote Republican for this reason, but I'm not like them, you know. The the more like the far right would probably, I would compare it if we were all in a workplace. Even people that watching this that don't like me say we're all in workplaces. You got the guy. The far right to me would be bosses, supervisors with their pot bellies, don't do no work, and they just say shit to harass you with things that have nothing to do with the job to assert their dominance. Or if they find out something that you're smart mouth, you get to assert their dominance. And then you get the other people. The far left to me would be the ones that are at work. Like, okay, you're left or right, we both will have the similar beefs about working for the man. But, you know, the far left would be the one, actually going to work is a big oppression. Do as little as possible, and when can I get out of here? And okay, I put in my time, where's the paycheck so I could and go out and buy my weed and go buy my booze so I could furnish liquor and beer illegally to my teenage friends or whatever the fuck, and bitch about how the police are tyrannical because I got to worry about getting caught, this and that. Yeah, that's what the far left, far right, and the moderate left and the moderate right are to me. Anyway, I'm trying to give you some basic facts here. If you got this far in this video, my whole fucking point is, yeah, you're a person that lived in this country, black or white, all your life, and say if it ever comes a time where you're fucking broke, right, and you don't got no money, but you manage to, they give you a full or partial EBT card, which we used to call back in the 1980s food stamps, And I remember, okay, talking in parentheses, I don't want to go on about that. Before you had Obamacare, some of us that had our parents that got divorced or whatever, before Obamacare or welfare in my state would give you this medical card. It was a blue medical card. You were able to go to the dentist and all that shit. Anyway, yeah, that's what I come from as a kid and all that. And then I vaguely remember, President Clinton at the time was calling for welfare reform, and all that damn shit. But that's a whole bunch of other shit later. I don't want to go on talking about the way that system was back in my day. I'm in my 50s already, going to be 52. But my whole fucking point is, wherever the fuck you are watching this, public housing in my goddamn area, you have to have some kind of income. They don't care what it is. Not everybody gets this thing called Section 8 where you're getting your rent paid for you. And then if you're fucking broke, you won't get nothing, not even in the projects. You're lucky if you can get in a homeless shelter. If you're broke, you can be homeless with carry an EBT card. And saying this, the fact that what I'm telling you here, why it's fucking bullshit, is, yeah, that is going on with people that lived in this country all our life, but they bring fucking illegals in here, right? Somehow getting them housing and all that shit even before people that were homeless in their own fucking country. And I will say once again, before I end this here, reason why you get all these people coming in here in droves, and former President Trump from the last presidency turned a lot of those away. This fucking shit was going on, okay, even I remember was a teenager, a young kid in the 1980s. Why you get all these people coming in droves like this, in the far left ultra-liberal Democrats know fucking well this was going on for years. They're all coming in here in droves because nobody fucking told them that we ran out of housing years ago. They still think that get right in here, they're going to give you a place in the projects and everything else. Back years, decades ago, they were. Look it up on fucking YouTube. Not the stereotypes anybody race. You got entire places in Michigan. They're all the whole projects over there. They're all the Muslim. They come from them countries. And then you got entire, projects filled with other ethnic groups, whether it's from right across the border and everything else. And yeah, you got all your ethnic gangs and all that shit the late George Carlin talked about in the one YouTube video. Look up his YouTube video where George Carlin look up George Carlin talking about what if you lose electricity, He talked about ethnic gangs, not that you're stereotyping everybody because of their race, but it's a fact you got them all over the place. They've been doing that shit for years, coming from these other countries. They were giving them places like projects a bunch of years, like way before. They ran out of place. You got them all coming in now, and they're all homeless. And shit, look, that's why it's going on now. They're putting them in bus stations. They're kicking the kids out of their schools, telling them they can't go to school because they're using the school for a shelter for all these people. And I'll tell you one thing. The fucking good thing about that, maybe the kids don't need to be in public school anyway. Let them learn online. Maybe you're better off not even in the public school. What the public schools want to teach the kids these days, teach them it's okay to identify as another gender. Push it on them with propaganda films or whatever else, but I digress. But I'm trying to tell you how fucking ridiculous this shit is. The far right has their reasons for saying certain shit, but if you say shit that isn't agreeable to them, some of the stuff is true and there's a lot of yeah buts, but there's some of the, well, and some of the stuff the far right is, okay, I'll tell you, that is like an exaggerated narrative to them. All that, a lot of that shit has fucking come true to a certain point. But they're ignorant. But I'm saying they're ignorant about how public housing. I was trying to fucking tell you with all this extra shit. I'm saying how fucking public housing works in our area, and I'm trying to make that as my logic to why in the fuck they're bringing people, kicking people out of public places and using it for shelters. And the point is that, yeah, you lived here all your life. You can't even get in the projects if you're fucking broke, if you're unfortunate to be broke. And they bring more people they don't got room for, right? And nobody, and they're all coming in because nobody fucking told them we ran out of housing years ago. Not like they can go out of nowhere and build it or whatever the fuck. And you see anybody go into these countries and telling them, hey guys, not that we don't want you here, we don't got no fucking room. I think there was one video somewhere, a video clip, or what the fuck's her name, reluctantly did say don't come. I have to look that back up. What the fuck was her, what the fuck was that bitch's name? But anyway, yeah, years, they should have told them years ago. That's why they're still flocking here. You got a whole shitloads of droves of people that come here and they still think that we're in that era where you can just get a place right in the projects. We'll give it to you right like that. I mean, they're giving fucking debit cards and EBT cards to all these people illegally. So they're walking around, you know, food stamp cards and debit cards and still fucking homeless. And it's just fucking insane. And then they're gonna get pissed off like Texas is trying to block the border or whatever the hell. And you can see why this president ain't doing shit about it, because he can't. And we have laws. You walk right in here without applying for asylum. That's what the fucking law is. Then you're gonna treat your own people like shit. And and to end this, according to my lurkers or whatever, they're the white leftist kiss asses or whatever the fuck, because whatever their little friends say online is truth and facts. They don't get, these people on that side of the tracks don't give a fraction of a shit that, they'll call somebody like me or anybody else racist because their little friends on whatever social media, on TikTok, say so. But they're ignorant of the fact that there's black people on the streets for decades already or longer, lived here all their life, homeless. And I try to explain to you why about public housing, that's part of it. They're homeless, they're black, lived here all their lives, and they're just kicking people out of homeless shelters and taking over schools and bus stations in some places now. And black people literally being blocked from going into a homeless shelter. They're finding a place for these people. There's, some black homeless people, I've seen little YouTube video clips where they're protesting. That's fucked up. So I'm just telling you how just ignorant people are, you know what I mean? Ignorant as fuck.